am Jennifer Van Alstein. Welcome back to The Social Academic. I'm so excited that we have a returning guest today, and that is Dr. Toyin Alli. Toyin, would you introduce yourself to people?
Yes. Hi, I'm Dr. Toyin Alli. I am a senior lecturer at the University of Georgia, and I run a business called the Academic Society. And within that business, I actually have two brands, one where I help grad students with time management and productivity, and the other where I help professors create what I call a semester-proof business, which is just one that is reliably profitable even during a busy semester where you have less than 5 hours a week to spend on your business. And so I had lived in Athens, Georgia for almost like 9 years, and I recently got married and moved to Greenville, South Carolina. And luckily, I get to teach my classes remotely. So I still teach at UGA, and it's just been wonderful.
Well, congratulations on your wedding and the move. I love that you get to stay with your students and continue to teach. And that virtual aspect of the classroom must be skills that you really bring into running your communities. Last time you came on the show, we were talking about the grad school brand. This time, I'd really love to focus on the faculty because honestly, there's so many faculty right now who are trying to protect themselves, are wanting to do something more, are already taking steps to create their own space in the world through a business. There's so many faculty that are juggling both. And then there's so many more faculty who don't realize that that's an option for them. So I'd love to hear a little bit about that side of your business.
Yeah, so I do think it's so important to be like well-rounded as a person and not let academia just be your whole life. And so whether you want to start a business or not, there should absolutely be something else that you are involved in that lights you up, that you're able to put some of your energy in that is not academia and the stress of it all. And for me, I am someone who I absolutely love my job. I love being a math lecturer. I can't even imagine not teaching math. My favorite thing is teaching math to students who are like terrified of math. And I'm like trying to make them love math. That's like my secret goal, is to make all my students love math. I love it so much. But there is so much that I've learned, and it's same with other academics. We had to learn so many different skills and even take up other hobbies as we were going through our grad school process. And often when we get into our positions, we're kind of using the same few skills over and over again. And when people come to me, I find that they have these other skills, these other learnings that they've gotten along the way that they just, it's like bursting out of them, that they want to share. They want to like help other people. And so I call these people professorpreneurs because they are professors, they're teaching, but they also want to teach other things than just their disciplinary work. And it's totally possible if they're building a business under a specific business model. Like not every business model is going to work for academics who have like busy schedules, maybe some time of the year, not all, and their schedule changes. And it's kind of hard to run maybe like a brick and mortar business. But an online education, digital business is like perfect for academics because they're doing this work already.
I met an amazing professor who has a brick and mortar. He has business partners with it, but his brick and mortar is actually a bakery. It's like a co op bakery. And I thought, how amazing that he could fit in this time for something that he loves while also keeping his full time job. And I've met so many other professors who have started a business because they have to, almost for their research. Like it's something that comes naturally in order to advance their research. But professorpreneurship seems a little bit more focused on building something that is sustainable with your full-time professor life. You mentioned 5 hours a week or less. So I'm curious, like what can professorpreneurship look like? What does it look like for some of the people who are in your program?
Yeah, so it's mostly leaning into your skills, your gifts, your mentorship, and being able to serve students outside of the students in your discipline. And when I say students, these could be adults who are not in college, who want to learn a skill, who need knowledge from your expertise. So people in my community, I have a counselor in counselor education, and she did her research for her dissertation on the strong Black woman narrative. And so she helps women unlearn that strong Black woman narrative, which often leads them to leave their jobs and do something different. So she's kind of like a career coach now. I have another community member who helps tenure track faculty member progress through and get tenured. I have someone who helps people with their job talks in academia. I work with someone who helps people help first generation students actually matriculate and get through the college experience. And it's just like, typically it's something that you personally identify with and you want to help others do. And so you can use your skills of teaching, of presenting and sharing as a business. So it's typically an education-based business where they're creating courses, workshops, books, they're doing speaking engagements. These are the types of businesses that I think are awesome fits for academics who also still have their academic job.
That is so cool. And I'm really happy that you've created space for people to come together, because when I started as a business owner, I didn't have that community and I was too scared to seek it. And it really took people almost being persistent with me to be like, hey, come be friends. And that worked. But I think that I would have grown a lot faster and more comfortably if I had a group like yours. Now, I'm not a professor. I don't teach anymore, mostly because I love doing this stuff that I do like full time. I can't do 5 hours a week. I just love it. But I also think about people who are maybe like towing the line. Like, I'm curious about starting my own business, but like, what if I love it so much I want to leave my professor job? Does anyone ever kind of question whether it should be balanced, or whether maybe the amount of balance should shift based on what they're most interested in?
Absolutely. I do have people in my community whose ultimate goal is to leave academia, but they're happy with doing it for now. And they want to have that security of a regular paycheck, of doing something they enjoy, and actually, seeing their hard work of grad school actually go towards the career that they plan for. So people are content in their academic jobs, but also can be interested in moving on and just doing their business full time. But I do think it's always still rooted in that education, in that teaching of others. I personally love my academic job and I can't imagine leaving it. Maybe that'll happen someday. But I found that my income can still increase with my business, so much so that in my business, I bring in almost like double what I make in my academic job, but I still love my academic job so much. And so I'm able to not sacrifice the work that I do there. I'm still an awesome professor. My students love me, but I'm able to grow this other thing. And I think that duality is really nice because you are doing kind of like a bit of different brain work. And so you're doing work in one area and then the other area starts to feel like a reprieve. And then you're working your business and then your schoolwork starts to feel like a reprieve. So it is really nice to be able to do both.
I am curious, what were some of like the like growing pains, or like areas in which once you started your business, you were like, wow, I really need to pay more attention to like the time management or my focus here to make both work?
So for me, it was never the time management. I'm a time management person. I'm great at time management. I'm great at boundaries. I'm great at me time. I always have time for myself every single day. So for me, the time wasn't the struggle. For me, it was figuring out a business strategy that actually worked. Because I'm an academic and I love learning, I just found myself learning about all these different business models and strategies, and I want to try all of the things. So I'm building all of these little bridges, but I'm never actually getting to the goal because I have not seen anything through because I'm learning something new. And so while I still love learning about things, and the information that I've learned is helpful for my clients because I don't like help my clients build identical businesses to me. Um, what I found was understanding who I am as a person and what I need is probably the first step in creating a business model that actually works, because I get to do things that I'm really excited about versus feeling drained. And that energy shows through in the content that I create. You can probably tell with my Instagram content that I'm not all in there, but with my YouTube channel, you can feel the energy. And so I've recently decided, like, I'm just going to stick with what's been working for me, what I love, my YouTube and my email, and that's it. And that's absolutely a semester proof business. I can do those things while running my business at the same time. So to answer your question, it was around the world. What was something that I had to like learn along the way is that I had to build my own business and not follow what everyone else was doing.
I love that. I love that so much because when I started out, I didn't know any website designers. I didn't know any website. I mean, I knew website designers, but not ones that I was like brave enough to reach out to and talk with about actually working. And so I ended up kind of creating my own packages and systems that work really well for professors. And then realizing after the fact that that's not the model that most website designers do. Now my model works. It works really well for people. And so like I'm not going to change it, but if I didn't have that lack of knowledge, I probably would have tried to build a different format for my business. And when I think about academics who are like already making so many decisions and prioritizing so many different things in their lives, the option of having so many different business models must be really difficult. And so you narrowed down and found a business model that really works for your business. I'm curious because you mentioned video, and I love video. It's not something I expected to enjoy when I started my business, but now I'm all in. And so I'm curious, how did you know video was right for you? How did you know, oh, like these are the clues that I'm like, I want to do more of this?
So I definitely grew up in the YouTube era. Like I was a YouTube girly. I was watching all the YouTube videos. And I actually started a YouTube channel when I was in grad school back in 2016-ish. And no, that's wrong. That's when I graduated, 2011-ish. And I called it YouTube University. And it was where I was watching a YouTube video and learning something and then trying to apply what I learned. And it was mostly like beauty and hair type of videos. And I remember my mom, who's always the most supportive person, she would share my videos to people we knew. And I got so embarrassed. I was like, absolutely not. One of my videos even got to like 4,000 views. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm shutting this channel down because I feel so embarrassed. I was always so shy, so introverted. But I always loved YouTube. I watch it as if it's TV. I like watch it mostly on my TV. And so when I finally started my business, the Academic Society, I was like, well, I have to have YouTube videos because that's where I would consume. And it just so turned out that as I'm creating these videos, I realized I connect with people on video. So it actually is trial and error. And that I think is what gets a lot of academics stuck, because academics are experts. They're experts in their field. And so it's really tough to show up as not an expert. And so often they try to choose the perfect platform, the perfect type of content, the perfect offer, and they spend all of this time trying to create this perfect thing that they never actually put it out into the world. When what I found is it's really like co-creating your business with whoever is watching and who's ever listening. It's like you're trying to figure out what resonates, and you actually have to put something out there to see if it works or not. So I tried YouTube and it worked, but I also could have tried it and it not work. I would have moved on to something else. Maybe podcasting is my thing. Maybe blogging is my thing. Maybe Instagram is my thing, but you have to actually get it out there to see how it feels, to see how the people connect with you.
Well, thank you for sharing that because shutting down your first YouTube channel, I really relate to that. My first YouTube channel I started in college, and it was like a singing channel. Like it was me singing, and it blew up overnight one time, and I was like, nope, that's it. Like I cut it off, and I like never did another singing
It's
video
scary.
again. It's scary, but it's also a good barometer to recognize your own comfort level. Because at this YouTube channel that you have, you seem very comfortable and you love it, and that you're leaning more into it. And I think I'm kind of similar. Like I don't want to do singing videos, but I do like creating these conversations for the social academic. I do like jumping on Instagram stories and creating short form videos. So there's different things that work for me and different things that definitely don't. Recognizing, what you're wanting to try out and are willing to experiment is like half of the journey, because you can't wait for perfection to happen before, like it doesn't happen before you start. Like you can't know that that's going to be the platform for you before you start. You can hope, you can learn the features in ways that help you be more effective at it, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's the right fit for you. So thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome. One of the things I tell my clients, because academics, they like to follow a path, they like to learn and implement.
Yeah.
But I tell them, it's great to learn these different strategies, different things, but you're not going to know what works for your business until you try it. And so this business thing is like building the airplane while it's already in the air, and it's terrifying. You're just trying stuff, but it's out there. And it's trying in public that seems really, really scary. Usually you like do your research, you work with your collaborators, and then once it's ready, then you publish it for the world. But for your business, you have to publish it for the world before you're ready.
What tips do you have for an academic who's maybe just starting out on YouTube, whether they're releasing their first video about their research or their first video is about that upcoming business that they're excited to be developing? I'm curious what tips you have for them.
Yes. Okay. So it is really important to study YouTube a little bit, especially I do recommend, like, if you're going to be on YouTube, you probably should be someone who consumes YouTube content so that it's very like clear and you understand what the algorithm will promote, and even your own viewing habits. Like, what makes me click on a video to watch it? Is it the thumbnail? Is it the title? So those kind of like nitty gritty things are not intuitive. You might want to name something, your video one thing, but that's not what really pops on YouTube. And also it's the almost like a stage presence that you need to have, because you can really see in a YouTube video when someone is uncomfortable being on camera. And so you have to think, okay, where am I most comfortable? Am I most comfortable when I'm speaking to my students? That should be the style of video you create, where you're like speaking to your students. Are you most comfortable when you're having a conversation? Maybe you should have guests on your channel. Are you most comfortable when it's like a voiceover and you have slides? You should do that. So like it's figure out your comfort level so that you can show up confidently on camera and understanding YouTube, but also being realistic about what kind of YouTube videos you want to make and how much time it takes to make them. Because I could spend all day editing and making super fancy videos with B-roll, but often academics are talking about such specific niche topics that no one else is talking about it on the internet. Your video doesn't have to be fancy if you're talking about what no one else is talking about. People are just glad that someone's finally talking about it. So most of my videos are just me sitting at my desk or on my couch talking to the camera. No frills, no animations, no B-roll, just me talking, sharing my experience, sharing my advice, and that's helpful to the people who are interested in what I'm talking about.
I love that. I switched the Academic Designer podcast from recording in a virtual studio with an awesome audio engineer to this live format because I really had this dream about getting out more content. And I was like, I need to change my process in order to have the kind of channel that I want. I want to feature more guests like you, Toyin. And so that change happened about a month ago now. And I'm just realizing how lighter my life feels. Like it's so fun to have these conversations again. I'm not thinking about timelines or schedules or all of these things that I used to have in the back of my mind when I'm trying to focus on, client website design. I'm like, wait, when is that video going to come out? And so I really like how changing my format has helped me better show up on YouTube. I'm curious, have you always done that kind of style of video, or is that something that you've changed and tried different things for?
It's mostly what I've always done, but I've always tried to like experiment and try to do more fun, fancy videos like what I like to watch. And it just doesn't serve the purpose for me. Like my purpose is to help grad students or my purpose is to help professors. They really don't need all that extra. And it's a lot of work for maybe a video that wouldn't even resonate. I find that academics don't need the fluff. They just want the answer. And as long as I'm given the answer, then I'm good to go. And so I remember that I always laugh. I tried to do like a dramatization at the beginning of one of my videos where it was like a before picture where I was a grad student, super stressed out, trying to do the work, super frazzled. And then that grad student is like having a conversation with a more put together grad student, and I'm like playing both roles. That video still is up, but I crack myself up every time I see it. I'm like, this does not feel or look natural at all. It's hilarious, but it's not for me.
There are some styles and trends that like maybe we want to experiment with, but just don't feel right. So sounds like that's one of them for you.
Yeah.
Singing is definitely one of them for me. You know who I've seen do a good video like that? Dr. Sheena Howard. She's good at like playing both roles without changing like what she was wearing or looking like, and you could just sense the difference. I like her Instagram because she gets creative on those short videos. I don't have any of that. I don't have any of the creativity when it comes to like being on trend. I really don't. Who was it? It was like oh, I'm not even allowed to say. There was a social media platform that asked me, like, how do you find, new content? Like who do you follow to get inspired? And I was like, oh, to be honest, like I don't really I don't really consume a lot of content that I'm like, oh, I want to copy that. And part of that is because a lot of the content that I consume, like you, Toyin, is very well done. It's highly produced. Maybe they're using B-roll and all of these elements, audio. Like I love it, but it's not the kind of content I want to create. And it sounds like it's not the kind of content most professors thinking about businesses or sharing their academic life online. Maybe they don't need to think about it too. Is that right?
That's correct. I would say the most creative I am with like a different style of video is a vlog. People are very curious about like what my day-to-day life looks like as someone who's doing both academia and a business at the same time. So that is where I'll deviate from my talking to camera style, but that's it.
I love that. My father-in-law Bob just started a YouTube channel. He's an art history professor, and he's using like all the B-roll and like fancy things. Like I don't do any of that stuff, but it takes so much work. Like I'm not doing the work, but like it takes so much work. So like if you are thinking about a channel like that, just know, yeah, there's more that's going to go into it. But if that's what you dream about, that's okay too.
Yeah.
Okay. My next question for you is really about your program for professors, six-figure professor. I'd love to hear, because there's people who are on this that are like, I really want to have a business too, or I started a business and I want to grow it. I like Toyin. How can I work with her?
Yes. So I have a one-on-one coaching program called Six Figure Professor. It is the program where I teach you the business strategy and framework to create that semester-proof business. So this is the business that you can run on 5 hours a week or less. And it reduces like what you're doing in your business, like your business operations. It really just reduces it down to one task. It's getting people into like attracting them to your funnel. Basically, all a semester-proof business is an automated email sales funnel. But you do need to have the assets around it to make it run. And so once you have your automated email sales funnel up and running, your only task is to get people in that funnel. And that is such an easier task than trying to be like, well, should I post on YouTube? Should I do Instagram? Then I need to do this blog post. And then I need to be on this podcast. Like, is it getting people in the funnel or not? Like you can do the other things on breaks, like in the summer or in the winter, spring break, do all the fun business things. But like when you're conserving your energy and you're splitting your time, you need a business model that's actually going to work when you don't have time to work on your business. And so that's what we set up together. We create a low ticket offer that like people will say yes to super easily. We create a free lead magnet. We create an email sequence. We put all the pieces. So one of the things I noticed my people struggled with is tech. They don't know what software to use. They don't know what makes the pieces talk to each other. So we do that as well. My clients get one coaching call and one tech session with me every single week so they can implement on the thing every week, every month, so they can implement on the thing they're working on for the month. And we screen share and I'm like, click this button, then you'll click this button. And this is how you set this up, because often they have been in online courses for business where they're taught the strategy and it's like, all right, go do it. And they're like, but how do I do it? So we actually do the doing in the program. And I think that's where I shine. I'm able to take a big picture thing and break it down into small steps I think that's like my math background, teaching math. You have to do that.
And that brings us back to what you were saying earlier about how professors really like things that are implementable, things that they can follow a plan. And so it sounds like you help them create the plan and then actually implement it as well. Is that right?
Yeah, by the end, you have the funnel put together. It's ready to go. Yeah.
So how long's the program?
It is 6 months. And it doesn't necessarily have to take 6 months to get it done, but I recognize that part of it is going to be during the semester. You're going to be busy, so you're not going to be able to implement all the time. But something I love doing is, as a bonus for joining Six Figure Professor, a popular bonus that I've done is have people also join my community, the Secret Society of Academic Entrepreneurs. And there's a group of academics who have businesses, and we have co-working sessions, like actual time to implement on our business. We have experts come in and share a strategy, and we implement on that strategy together. We get to like talk about like, what are we doing? Like, how are y'all doing this? What's been helpful for you? And so I think that's a great compliment to Six Figure Professor, is that they get invited to join this community as well while they're in the program.
Can I ask, like, how do people feel? What's different for them being part of a community than, say, just doing it on their own?
Yeah, it's like something about knowing that other people are going through the same hardships as you is like, oh, maybe I'm not doing it all wrong. It gives you that confidence, like, oh, this is normal and I'm not failing in my business. This is just the stage that I'm in. And I'm seeing people who have gotten through this and are on the other side, or even just talking about it with other people. Someone else can name the issue that is happening, and just having the language for what's happening can be very comforting as well. And I had a client who would always ask me, like, what do you do when how do you keep going when people aren't buying, when people aren't commenting on your posts, when people aren't, it feels like no one is listening. I was like, well, I'm in communities where in addition to being in academic entrepreneurship communities, I'm also in business owner communities with people who may have bigger businesses than me. And I see super successful big businesses. They create offers that don't sell. They create content that no one comments on, but that doesn't mean they're not a successful business. And so you get to understand, well, what's a metric that I should actually care about versus a metric that's really not important. It just feels bad, you know? So normalizing a lot of what's happening is a huge benefit of being in the community.
I love that. Before we wrap up, Toyin, do you have a message for professors who are listening to this who may be thinking, I want to have that business, but I'm a little bit scared? Do you have a message for them?
I would say just do it. Like, think of it as teaching. Whether you teach classes in your academic role or you mentor grad students in their research, what does that feel like when the student actually gets it? When your grad student actually gets their PhD? Like, it feels amazing to have played a small role in someone's success. And when you think about it as having a business is serving and helping others, and if I don't help others with the skill that I have, it might take that person that much longer to get to where they want to go. So if you reframe it as from like, oh, it's all about me and I'm doing this special thing because I'm trying to make money, and you reframe it to, I'm here to help others, and if I'm not going to help them, they may have a harder time getting supported. And I feel like that's what really drives me, is being able to help people.
Thank you so much for coming on The Social Academic. Dr. Toyin Alli, is there anything else you'd like to add before we wrap up?
My overall business is just help. I really want to help academics and grad students see that academia doesn't have to be their whole life, and they can have something outside of academia and still be successful in academia at the same time. That's like my message.
Thank you so much for coming on The Social Academic. I am so happy that the series is live. We get to feature more people like you. For everyone who's listening, Toyin and I had an interview a few years ago that I am going to add that link in the description below. And I really just want to encourage you, if a business is something that you've been thinking of, there are people that you can reach out to and be in community. You can get in touch with Toyin, but also if you know someone that has a business, don't be scared like I was. Like, you can reach out to them and ask if they're open for an informational interview or a quick catch up. There are so many ways to have a business as a professor, academic. I started my business coming right out of grad school. It was like at my graduation, they were asking, what are you going to do? And I was like, I am filing my LLC paperwork right after this. So wherever you are in your academic career, if this is something of interest to you, I encourage you to find community. Don't wait like I did. Thank you so much for coming on the show, Toyin.
Thank you for having me. This is great.